Opening night of the 2011 NBA playoffs concludes in Dallas and American Airlines Center as the Mavericks host the Portland Trail Blazers. Dallas, the 3 seed, won 57 games during the regular season. Portland, the 6 seed, won 48 games. They split their regular season series 2 games apiece. Hi everybody, Dave Pasch alongside Doris Burke. Holly Rowe here as well. Doris, maybe never has a team with that many regular season wins been so dismissed even before the playoffs have begun.
Questions about the Dallas Mavericks. Are they too old? Are they tough enough? Will they have another early season bow out in the playoffs? Does Dirk Nowitzki get enough support from a consistent second scorer? For Rick Carlisle, he said it's all about their disposition. Dismiss the past, play tonight. They've lost in the first round 3 of the last 4 years. And their opponent tonight, the Portland Trail Blazers, playing well since the trade for Gerald Wallace from Charlotte. They're 6-2 against the top 4 teams in the West since. He'll be joined by Wesley Matthews, Miller, Camby, and LaMarcus Aldridge, who did not make the All-Star team but played like an All-Star this year. And you'll see a lot of Brandon Roy as well, something like that. And for Dallas, DeShaun Stevenson will start at the 2 guard. He brings toughness to the table along with kid Marian Nowitzki. Oh. Wow. The Mavericks and the American Airlines Center are committed to creating a safe and NBA playoffs concludes in Dallas at American Airlines Center as the Mavericks host the Portland Trail Blazers, the 3-6 matchup in the West. And starting for the Blazers, who won 48 games during the regular season, veteran Andre Miller, along with Wesley Matthews, Gerald Wallace, LaMarcus Aldridge, their leading scorer, and Marcus Camby in the middle. For Dallas, Dirk Nowitzki, career 26 points per game in the playoffs, joined by Chandler Marion, 38-year-old Jason Kidd, and DeShaun Stevenson. Dallas 57 wins, tied with the Lakers for the 4th best record in the NBA, but they've been ousted in the first round of the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. Portland will start with it. Andre Miller, 35 years of age, 12th year out of Utah, looking for his first postseason series win. Here's Miller with 4 to shoot, and it's a great start for the Blazers if Miller's hitting that. Well, you get an exchange on the pick and roll, and so Andre just steps away from Dirk, who's a pretty big-sized defender trying to shoot over the top. Nice job by him. Here's Stevenson off the pick, and Stevenson hits the first shot for Dallas. He was being guarded by Wesley Matthews, normally a great lock and trail defender. He got hung up a bit on the screen. Here's Aldridge with the shot clock at 7 called for traveling. So, Mike, a road team wins there, and a lot of people picking the road team tonight and in this series. The Portland Trail Blazers were tied at 2 early on here in Dallas. The Mavericks have been ousted in the first round 3 of the last 4 years, including a year ago as the 2 seed. They're the 3 seed this year. The Blazers the 6 seed in the West. A bucket for Andre Miller for Portland and DeShaun Stevenson for the Mavs. And our first foul in the game. Stevenson bumped on his way to the goal. Rick Carlisle, his 3rd season as the Mavericks head coach. He led the Pacers to the Eastern Conference Finals back in 2004 as their bench boss. And what a job Nate McMillan has done again. Tons of injuries in Portland, but 48 wins. And since their trade for Gerald Wallace, they went 6-2 against the top 4 playoff teams in the West. Here's Nowitzki falling away, and Dirk is 0 for 2. Almost seems like the Blazers as an organization, it's become the norm for them to deal with the injuries. They're accustomed to it.
Greg Oden out for the year again. Brandon Roy has had injury problems, and that guy, LaMarcus Aldridge, has really stepped up. Was not an all-star, but an all-star caliber season. Another Portland foul, second team foul. Well, the one thing that Nate McMillan hasn't done is won a playoff series in Portland. The last Blazers series win was in 2000. That's 6 consecutive series they've lost, the longest current streak in the NBA. Here's Nowitzki, 0 for 2 on the night, 10th leading scorer in the NBA during the regular year, and he hits there over Andre Miller.
Well, obviously a little exchange defensively, because Miller is not going to, under normal circumstances, check Dirk, and his release point so high, very difficult for Andre to contest that.
Here's Miller, hit a jumper earlier. Misfiring there, but Canby was so important to this Blazer team. Gets the offensive rebound. Aldridge is fouled.
There's so many questions about a 57-win team. I don't think you can question this guy. He has been one of the most extraordinarily gifted scorers this league has had over the last 10 years.
Career in the playoffs, 26 points per game and 11 rebounds. One of only 4 guys in history of the NBA to have those kind of numbers in the playoffs, but obviously has not won a championship. Got close in 06. They were up 2-0 on the Heat. Lost that series. Then the next year won 67 games during the regular season and lost as a 1 seed to Golden State in the opening round.
Well, it's so many questions. You know, are they tough enough? Do they have a consistent enough second scorer, with Jason Terry not being as consistent as he has been in the past? You know, this is a team built more on balance. You might have to have multiple guys get around 8-9 points for them to have success. And then, of course, you need Dirk to score it. And boy, if he makes shots, look out. That changes the equation for this team.
He had 133 threes during the regular season, but averaged a career low 8 points per game. Jason Kidd at age 38. Here's Dallas native LaMarcus Aldridge missing, and a loose ball foul on Canby. The 3rd foul on Portland here in the opening period.
Well, Jason Kidd has got extraordinary playoff experience. Remember, went to the finals with New Jersey on 2 different occasions. His percentage is very low this season. Whether you give him a couple of days off, let him decompress mentally, and you wonder what their disposition is to start this playoff series.
A lot of people picking the Blazers as Stevenson buries a 3, and it's a 5-point Dallas lead. Dallas 2 for 2 on threes. Offensive foul.
Wow, they're going to be in the bonus awfully early. That's 4 already, but Stevenson getting the start for Bourgeois, who is injured. And they made that change in the last regular season series, and in Stevenson you get a little bit of toughness.
Wes Matthews, who's had a great year, one of the most improved players in the NBA, has to sit with 2 fouls, and Nicholas Batum comes into the game. Batum has been great since the All-Star game. He can defend, and he's on Jason Kidd right now. And Gerald Wallace, speaking of being able to defend, one of the better defensive players in the league, almost came up with a steal.
And then Batum, you have got an outstanding young talent. I think he's 22, 23 years old. He's long, he's athletic, and his upside tremendous. And there is that another Blazer foul.
So officially 4th team foul.
4th team.
Andre Miller. So side out. Shot clock at 14. Kidd going away from the screen. Here's Batum on Nowitzki. Dirk draws contact but traveled first. First turnover by Dallas.
I didn't realize until we spoke to Rick Carlisle prior to the game that when he first came into the league, they were trying to make him a 3, not a 4. Think about his skills when he came into the league, great shooter, but he has worked very hard to become a very good one-on-one basketball player.
Here's Batum with 5 to shoot. Off the bounce and good from 18 feet. Batum over his last 13 games averaging 15.5 points per contest. Here's Marion, the former Sun, who's been very good of late. And Kidd, who hit a 3 earlier, this time misfiring. Chandler keeps it alive. That's one of the reasons they got him. He also can defend the paint in his first year with the Mavs. Stevenson and Nowitzki not on the same page there on the give and go. Contact between Wallace and Kidd, but a good no call.
Yeah, I agree. And on the opposite end, mixing their looks defensively, that time trapping Dirk on the catch.
Here's Wallace, the 10-year pro out of Alabama, and a great play by Chandler, coming over for the swat. Here's Nowitzki with the jumper. 4 points for Dirk. Dallas by 5 again. Portland only has 7 points in 5.5 minutes, and the Blazers call a timeout. And when we come back, for those of you watching on Classic, you can flip it over to ESPN to watch the rest of the game. Pash, Dorisburg, Holly Rowe back in Dallas. A 5-point lead for the Mavs early on. 57 wins, 11th straight 50-win season, but no titles. And the Mav players know if they don't win in the playoffs, those 57 wins mean nothing.
I definitely feel the tension around the city. You know, this has been an organization that has won, 50-plus games for I don't know how long now, made it to the playoffs, and the city is kind of, starving for a ring.
Nothing else is possible unless you get through today's task. And so our task is Portland. We're geared up. We're ready. We match up very well with this team. And, hey, it's fun. This is a fun time of year for us.
Think about this. They won 57 games, and Dirk, when he got hurt, they were 2-9. So even if they go 500, you're looking at a 60-win team, and you wonder if they'd still be dismissed.
One of those 2 wins without Nowitzki was against Portland, but the Blazers beat Dallas twice since the Gerald Wallace trade. Stevenson with a miss. You saw an alley-oop dunk on the other end. Aldridge led the NBA in alley-oop dunks, and he already has 5 points. Make it 7 for the Dallas native coming home, and Portland within 1.
Well, what a transformation. This guy by personality didn't necessarily want to be, quote, the guy. And now when he gets the basketball in the box, he's so decisive and commanding down there.
Former number 2 overall pick in 2006. Played a short time at the University of Texas before going pro as Nowitzki gets his 3rd field goal.
What's to be done with that? I mean, good luck trying to get a piece. This guy gets separation, and off-balance shots are his specialty.
And here's Aldridge again, this time out to Batum. Aldridge with 5 to shoot, little half hook, and LaMarcus Aldridge 4 of 5 from the field, 9 points.
You know, when they get into their half-court set, the ball is going to be entered to LaMarcus Aldridge, and by percentage, it's about 42% of the time. Feels like it's more than that. They look to him every single time on the box.
And Dirk called for a offensive foul.
And it's been a necessity. This is a team that doesn't have a choice. LaMarcus Aldridge has got to be the guy. And he understands, hey, missed shots don't matter. In the past, he might not have taken those shots.
We talked with him earlier today, and he seems like a totally different guy than he did a couple years ago. And it all started for him back on December 15th here in Dallas. Brandon Roy did not look the same. His knees didn't look good, and that was the last game Roy played for a while. Aldridge had to step up and almost brought Portland back at 35 points, 20 in the 4th quarter, and he told us today that that was his breakout game. He's been spectacular since, and gets the alley-oop dunk the 2nd time that Camby's found him.
He is especially good when he gives up the basketball. One of the things he does really well, to me, is make cuts. When he gives up the basketball, they run this play. His alley-oop finish is incredible. They've got to handle him. 8 straight for Aldridge.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Ford Service. See your Ford dealer for expertise, convenience, and value.
After giving Portland the lead, LaMarcus Aldridge getting a little bit of a break. He's become the go-to guy for the Blazers.
I'm very comfortable with it now. I think in the beginning, it was a different transition going from Robin to Batman. End of the games, normally, either I got a shot or I didn't get a shot. Where now, end of the games, like the ball's coming to me. So I think that took a little, transition time to, actually be like, okay, you know what, I want this shot and I can make this shot.
It's about commanding the basketball, and it's 6'11", 246. This is a guy who wanted to be a face-up guy and shoot a lot of jump shots. I don't think it's easy in this league as you look at the numbers before December 15th, that game you touched on. It's not easy in this league to be willing to go down and take the physical beating that you're going to take on a nightly basis. But the guy has changed his mindset, and that's been huge for this club.
And Brandon Roy on the floor now. We talked about him battling those knee injuries this year. Former Rookie of the Year. His kid hits his second three of the opening quarter.
It's hard to doubt that guy. He's just got so much savvy and experience. He's tough. He reads the game, and this is what the Mavericks like to do. They love to get off to the fast start in the first quarter and try to set the tone.
122nd career postseason game for Jason Kidd. Played in a couple finals, but no championship. As there is a Dallas foul.
On the season, 34% from three, but you can see no hesitation as Jason Terry. They make him give the basketball up. And a willing shot taker is Jason Kidd.
Played well the other night against New Orleans. Had 12 points, 8 assists, just 1 turnover. As the Mavs came back from a halftime deficit to close out the regular season with a win. Miller fouled by Terry. So 2 quick fouls on Jason Terry. And Andre Miller will go to the line. They got a lot of NBA coverage across the board for you coming up on TNT tomorrow at 1 Eastern. It's Memphis and San Antonio. Now talk that Ginobili might play on ABC at 3:30. You got New Orleans and the Lakers. NBA TV Tuesday. Orlando, Atlanta looking to go up 2-0 in that series on ESPN Friday. Boston, New York. Lakers at New Orleans.
Well, simply speaking, as a fan and a huge Manu Ginobili fan, I hope he plays. Obviously, the elbow of concern. You want his health long term. But he's such a competitive guy. I'm sure Coach Popovich, it would be a real fight for him not to play.
Listed as doubtful still as Marion sits and Barea comes into the game for the first time. But Tony Parker said he'd be shocked if Ginobili didn't play in that game 1. Andre Miller, 85% free throw shooter, misses the second one.
Now you'll see if this becomes a theme, because this is where Portland believes they have the advantage with their post-up guys, Brandon Roy and Andre Miller in the guard spots, Barea and Kidd on the floor. Those are difficult matchups.
Barea's had a very good season, and over his last 9 games, averaging 13 points per contest. Here's Nowitzki. He's got 6 points. That's his second missed field goal. Chandler keeping it alive again into the hands of Batum. Miller hits the deck, but appears to be all right. Nobody picks up Batum. Short with a 3, and Barea tracks down the loose ball. Here's Kidd in the lane. Averages 8 on the year, and already with 8 here in the first quarter. Mavs by 3. Can be the long J.
Well, and the reason he takes that shot, Tyson Chandler was looking to give assistance on the post-up by the guards from Portland, and that allows Camby enough space.
Both teams shooting over 60% from the field as Peja Stojakovic misses his first shot. Miller will go to the line as Barea picks up the foul. 14 foul on Dallas.
Jason Kidd, according to Rick Carlisle, he's so locked into each game that they gave him a couple of days off to end the season just to get him fresh and ready. But he looks prepared to play.
You can score Mavericks and Trailblazers playoff gear now at NBAstore.com. Get free shipping on any order over $85. NBAstore.com. One store, every team. You know, Doris, there's so many good young point guards in the NBA right now in the playoffs, like Westbrook and Rondo and Paul. How about the matchup here? 35-year-old Andre Miller, 38-year-old Jason Kidd.
Well, and you love it. They go at the position in different ways. Andre Miller is not a three-point threat at all. He's a guy who likes to get around the rim. Kidd is a guy who remarkably, when you look at where he is all-time threes made, you're struck by it because he's been such a pass-first mentality. But #1 is Jason Kidd, active playoff assist performer, 8.8 in the postseason for him.
Third all-time in all games in threes made, second in assists, third in steals. Here's Barea, got inside. Camby came over with a block, couldn't handle it though. It'll stay Dallas ball. And an outstanding 17-year career for Jason Kidd, the #2 pick back in 1994 by Dallas. He's in his second stint now with the Mavs, coming back in a deal with New Jersey.
Smart, tough, has an unbelievable feel for his guys. And it's interesting that he's chosen to be such a scorer tonight.
He was out here some 2.5 hours before tip-off, shooting threes, and was off the mark with that one. Portland ball on a 1-point lead as we near the 2-minute mark. Nate McMillan told us it'll be an 8-man rotation for the Blazers, so all 8 have played. Roy off the bench with his first bucket.
Well, you wonder if his knees will allow him to get back to the explosive player. You see glimpses of it, and that move right there is his patented one. A little hard drive at the defender and a separation step back.
An all-star from 2008 through 2010. 10-4 Portland in terms of paint points, as Haywood is fouled. And that puts the Blazers over the limit. Hernandez picking up the foul, and Brendan Haywood will go to the free throw line. He was the worst free throw shooter in the NBA during the regular season at 36%.
Sure, he appreciates the reminder, Mr. Pash.
I was going to add, though, that he does have, when in live action, a decent 15-foot jumper. He hit a couple the other night against the Hornets. ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues Sunday and Monday night at Eastern. Sunday, Texas and the Yankees. 7 Eastern. Monday, it's the Phillies and Brewers. And Haywood missing both there. Camby gets the loose ball.
See, the play-by-play jinx does not work in the opposite direction. You can't help him by mentioning how bad he is.
Tried to help him on the jumpers at the foul line. Maybe he should shoot jumpers on free throws. He seriously made 2 the other night against the Hornets. They were actually big shots. Here's Wallace with 5 to shoot, taking Nowitzki to the bucket, and Haywood comes over and alters the shot. And now Barea weaving through Blazers. We'll wait for teammates. And Barea with the floater.
What a year that guy has had. Well, you look at his stature and you'd think, how on earth is he successful in the NBA? Well, a lot of toughness and using his advantage, which is speed.
Undrafted out of Northeastern. Here's Batum. Can't hit the 3. Haywood clears. And Dallas looking to retake the lead. Inside a minute to go here in the opening quarter. Stojakovic down the lane. Haywood got the offensive rebound.
Well, how about the activity in the first period by Haywood?
Nowitzki, 6 points. Backing down Batum. Can't get it to go. Just 3 of 7 from the field here in the opening quarter, and about a half a second difference between game and shot clocks. Portland shooting 60% from the floor here in the opening quarter. Roy off the Batum screen. Camby hit a jumper earlier in the period, this time misfiring. Here's Barea from half court. And Portland leads by 1 on the road in game 1 after 1. 11 points for LaMarcus Aldridge to lead the way for Portland. 8 points for Jason Kidd. It's the 3-6 matchup in the West. And Portland has a 1-point edge after a quarter.
Back to Dallas with Portland head coach Nate. Back to Dallas with Portland head coach Nate McMillan. And coach, early in this quarter, you guys were in some foul trouble.
Yeah.
How did you to start defending a little differently?
Well, we needed to play defense without reaching, and they were flopping a little bit. I thought our guys made a good adjustment the last 4 minutes of the quarter, and continuing with the pressure but not fouling.
Jason Kidd's heated up a little bit here. What do you change on him?
Well, we got to get closer. They like to shoot the three ball. Whenever Jason makes one or two, he's going to look for more. So we got to close out to these guys quickly.
Thanks, Coach. Dave, back to you.
Terry gets to the basket. And Jason Terry with his first points of the night. One of the top scorers in the NBA off the bench. By the way, LaMarcus Aldridge is back on the floor. He sat the last 4 minutes or so of that first quarter after scoring 11 points.
It was 5 for 6, so you wonder, is that just early rest because of that limited rotation you talked about?
Fernandez hits a three. He struggled shooting it during the regular season, but in 2 career playoff series, he shoots 45% from behind the arc. Nowitzki, 3 turnovers and 3 field goals in that quarter. Stojakovic for 3. That could be huge for Dallas.
Well, and you've got Dirk, who's become a better passer as his career has moved forward. And what do you notice? The game plan for Portland, they were going to try to limit Dirk's touches. And obviously, they're committed to a double on every catch. They're going to say, okay, somebody else besides Dirk can try to beat us.
Dallas now 4 of 8 from 3. Stojakovic playing for his 3rd team this year because of injuries and the like. As the air ball by Roy, and then the officials give it to Portland. Shot clock at 5.
Bottom side trap. The guard comes from the weak side and helps out, and Dirk looks opposite, as you should do against a double.
So Blazer ball, 5 to shoot. Here's Matthews. Tried to hit Aldridge. Looked like it might have been deflected by Maverick, but nope. It's Dallas ball. Aldridge with 11 to lead Portland. Jason Kidd, the leading scorer for Dallas, with 8 points as Barea gets by 2 Blazers. Here's Peja again. Gets the bounce. Second straight 3 for him. A career 39% three-point shooter in the playoffs. Peja Stojakovic playing in his 11th postseason. Matthews from the corner. Stojakovic with the board. Dallas went 29-12 at home. That's the 2nd worst home record among West playoff teams, but they had the best road record in the league, tied with the Heat. Nowitzki with his 4th field goal, and the Dallas lead is 6. 8-0 Mavs run. Aldridge, just his 2nd miss. Barea to Terry. Here's Dirk.
Obviously, the pace. The more up and down this goes, the more that favors the Dallas Mavericks.
Fernandez, that's pass too hot to handle for Matthews. Portland turnover. No timeout here. Runs of 12-3 and 8-0 for Dallas. Its largest lead of the game right now.
Well, and they're making it happened with other guys besides Dirk. You mentioned the 3 turnovers. He's got a couple of assists, so he's not forcing shots. But you've gotten a good lift off the bench. Haywood gave him great minutes in the first period. Peja's been terrific here. Remember, Peja's only played in 33 games.
Right. And he did not play Wednesday because of a personal matter, but had a left knee injury earlier in the season when he was on the Raptors roster. He started the year with New Orleans, was traded to Toronto, then got hurt, was eventually waived, and signed by Dallas. Here's Stojakovic off the bounce, falling away, can't hit it over Roy. And Stojakovic then picks up the foul, the first foul in the quarter on either team. Dallas leading Portland in game 1 by 6 early second quarter.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by AutoZone. For the auto parts, accessories, and advice you need.
Was that the surprise of the day as we look at our Domino's playoff tracker, or was it Indiana hanging with Chicago up 10 with just a few minutes left before Derrick Rose took over?
I think the surprising thing for me was the ease with which Indiana scored in the first half against what has been one of the league's best defensive teams in Chicago. Let's say this to you about Derrick Rose. He's just doing nothing but solidifying the MVP votes that people already cast. Do you remember when he asked the drive by Batum? Do you remember when Derrick Rose asked at the beginning of the year, he said the MVP race came up, and I think he brought it up actually. He said, why not me? And I remember being stunned and thinking, because young fella, you're exactly that, you're young. But I mean, what an extraordinary performance, and I love his approach. I love that he said, why not me, and then go out and back it up.
And if he wins the MVP award, as you see his numbers from game one, he will be the youngest in NBA history to win that award. As Batum, normally a very good free throw shooter, misses. Portland just 4 of 7 at the line.
And I like his approach. I like the humility of Derrick Rose, and the fact that he's committed to improving his game. I mean, a year ago, I don't think you had to get out and contest that three-point shot. No. So now you've got to get close enough to Derrick Rose to challenge the shot. And with his speed, you're like, what am I supposed to do as a defender? Because his blow-by speed is extraordinary.
Dallas ball, 5-point lead here in game one, the 3-6 matchup in the West. Mavs have been bounced out of the first round 3 of the last 4 years. Barea missing, Batum with the rebound. LaMarcus Aldridge, the leading scorer with 11 points, but he was on the bench for a while, and they haven't even gone to him here in the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a very efficient scorer. Let's see, can they get him reestablished?
He's got it now with Haywood defending. And Aldridge into the lane. Throw up an air ball.
Haywood very physical with LaMarcus Aldridge.
No Nowitzki right now for Dallas. Here's Terry in the corner. With a 2, Jason Terry with his second field goal. Largest lead for the Mavs at 7. Portland has only 4 points here in the quarter. Terry, a former 6th man of the year back in 2009, gets the bucket on one end. Here's Andre Miller on the other. And defensive 3 seconds is called, so that's 1 free throw plus the ball.
Well, you want to talk about a guy who has something to prove in the playoffs. He feels like he has not been what he has been accustomed to being, which is a fourth quarter player, a guy who shows up in big moments. He said, I'm prepared, I'm ready to play.
Andre Miller will shoot the technical. You know, Doris, he's been very testy lately, got into it with a teammate, J.J. Barea, at the end of the game. Got into it with Steve Blake against the Lakers the other night with a couple of Hornets. He lost a loved one. His aunt passed away just a few weeks ago, helped raise him when he was growing up in Seattle. And he told us today, that's really affected him the last couple of weeks. But he feels like emotionally he's back where he normally is.
These guys are not robots. They've got, issues like everybody else, and loss impacts them, and it did him. It's a nice job by Miller, and you can see they're just trying to take advantage of Barea.
He's got 8 points. 2 years ago, he had 52 here against Dallas, and Miller not really known as a scorer, but a very solid point guard through the years. Here's Marion, his first shot attempt of the game, and Dallas is 6 of 9 from the field this quarter.
Well, what do you notice? I mean, Portland can't keep them out of the lane.
Miller strip. Last touch by Dallas.
Portland is having real trouble keeping Barea from getting off the dribble and into the lane, and is creating a lot of things defensively.
And the Mavs have a 6-point lead over Portland here in game one.
Being active in the community and giving back has helped me grow as a person. When you see these war veterans come back, some of them are wounded, seeing them and seeing what they did for our country and being able to go over and touch them and see the joy and the excitement that they get, that right there, it touches you, because they don't have to do it. It was their choice to serve our country. We're forever indebted to them, and we thank them.
Jason Terry very involved here in the Dallas community and in the game. His He's got 4 points. You see the numbers for the second quarter, and -2 in turnover ratio, and Portland on the season was second in the NBA in positive turnover differential. They're struggling though here in the quarter. Dallas's defense has something to do with that, as Miller working on Barea scores again, and he's in double figures with 10 points.
That defensive 3 seconds, those big guys were trying to shade to give some assistance, but then you can get technical free throws called against you, and they continue to work on Barea.
Aldridge defending Barea. Haywood and Fernandez tied up. It'll be a jump ball. So far, Portland with 2 players in double figures. Dallas has none. Dirk Nowitzki on the bench right now. He and Jason Kidd, the leading scorers for the Mavs, with 8 points apiece. And both guys will come in now. And Barea, who, as you talked about, Doris, is causing Portland some problems, will go to the bench, as will Stojakovic. Peja hit a couple threes off the bench, so he's got 6 points in 11 minutes. Haywood called for traveling. Dallas turnover. We'll see if the Blazers try to get Aldridge some touches. Since he had 8 straight points midway through the first quarter, he's only taken 2 shots.
Haywood's done a pretty good job. He's just putting a forearm in his back and being as physical as possible with him.
Here's Miller again, and Andre Miller. You and I were talking before the game thinking, you know, this guy, he's a veteran. He's never won a playoff series. You don't know how much longer he's going to be able to go at age 35, that he might have a good night. He loves playing here in Dallas.
4 for 5, 12 points. He loves to operate on the baseline. So good.
You mentioned that 52-point game he had here as Haywood gets the stuff off the Terry miss.
Boy, if you're Rick Carlisle, everything you said pregame is coming to fruition. A lot of guys giving you just a little bit off the bench in terms of productivity. Haywood, Peja.
Gerald Wallace, his first playoff game as a Maverick, struggling shooting the ball. But Miller's got it. Shot clock at 5. Tough pass to handle for Batum. Last touch by Dallas. Blazer ball with 4 to shoot.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle at times for Haywood since he's come here to Dallas, but he's given him outstanding minutes on both ends of the floor. Excellent activity as soon as he stepped into the basketball game and using his length to go get the offensive board.
4 rebounds, 2 points for Haywood. Went to the playoffs often in Washington, he and Deshaun Stevenson, as Terry breaks up the pass and throws it ahead to Marion. Marion tried to stuff it on Wallace, and a foul is called. First foul on the Blazers here in the quarter, and Marion will shoot 2.
This guy in the open floor has been sensational his entire career. Wallace looks to make a good challenge, and then look at Mr. Terry, unquestionably the emotional leader of this team, and trying to get the crowd involved.
2 points tonight for Sean Marion, averaging 15 points per game since the All-Star break, a 4-time All-Star in Phoenix. And he didn't start a lot last year because of Caron Butler. Marion's had to start this season. Butler is out for the year with a knee injury. There was talk that maybe they would get him back if they went deep into the playoffs, but it's looking more like midsummer as Butler had a horrific knee injury, and who knows where Dallas would be and what their seed would have been had Butler not missed 50 games.
Tough juice, a guy who can get buckets on his own, a consistent second scorer. His numbers were terrific before he got injured.
Here's Roy on Terry. Wallace, who can shoot it from there, but missed that time. 33% three-point shooter. Dallas ball, 6-point Mav lead. Here's Nowitzki. He's got 8 points, 4 of 9 shooting. Aldridge defending. Dirk. How many times do we see him make that shot, but it's not dropping tonight?
How many times do you say shooters need to be on balance? Everybody but Dirk needs to be on balance.
As Hubie Brown said the other night, one of the most unathletic, acrobatic scorers in the history of the game.
I like that. Unathletic, acrobatic.
Missed by Aldridge. Rebound Nowitzki. And Terry fouled by Roy. Second team foul here in the quarter.
There are many Hubieisms that you have to love.
Yes.
I heard once a story when he was asked to evaluate what he looked for most in a player. And it wasn't what you thought it would be, Hubie Brown. Heart and pain tolerance. Can you play with heart and can you play? Because you know you're going to be banged up in this league.
Here's Chandler from Terry. First points of the night for Tyson Chandler. Such an integral part of this Dallas team, giving them some toughness in the middle as Miller fires. Well, he doesn't shoot it from there often. It doesn't make it often. And he was off target there. Here's Terry, and the Jet gets to the rim. Can't finish, but a Portland foul.
Well, the Jet has been active. A nice little drive and dish, and then a drive to get himself to the free throw line. And again, I make the point. They have gotten into the lane, both Barea and Jason, with regularity in this first half.
And Terry with one more free throw. There's Caron Butler, who we're talking about, out for the year with a knee injury. 50 games missed.
15 points, 4 rebounds, and a guy who, when you double Dirk on the weak side of the floor, could create off the dribble, and his toughness. You know, I think that's what Chandler brings, and I think that's what Caron Butler brought, is that toughness that's been so often questioned.
7 straight points for the Mavs, and the missed free throw by Terry. Dallas with its largest lead of the game at 9. Alley-oop to Aldridge. It worked a couple times in the first quarter.
He might be as good as there is in the league when he's off the basketball at making those cuts to the rim. His points per possession when he makes those cuts, 1.48. It's extraordinary.
Led the league in alley-oops during the regular season. Aldridge with 13, Miller with 13, but it's the Mavs on top late in the first half. And here are some of the other storylines from today. We talked about Derrick Rose's 39-point performance. You get what you expect from the big three with Miami. Dwight Howard, 46 points in the loss. And boy, the Hawks looked so bad at the end of the regular season. But they played great tonight on the road to take game 1.
2 good scorers. Joe Johnson and Jamal Crawford combined for 48 points. And another team that's been dismissed, Atlanta. You wonder if Kirk Heinrich is the difference.
Shot clock at 5 for Dallas. Here's Nowitzki, Marion, and Camby with the rejection. Dallas leads by 7, and no Mavericks in double figures. Meanwhile, Wallace has not scored yet for Portland, and he continues to struggle. 0-4-5 from the field. He has 1 rebound, and so does Aldridge, so they're not getting it done on the glass. Normally a very good offensive rebounding team. They have 2. Dallas has 5 offensive rebounds. Nowitzki, 4 of 11, but another offensive rebound. And now Kidd looking for his 3rd three. It's there.
Here's what you know about him. His percentages are down, but he's a streaky three-point shooter. Put in the time early, got some shots up today.
Miller, foul first.
Now this guy, when he gets his feet set, he's got plenty of time. They're electing not to get closer. As Nate McMillan told Holly Rowe after the first period, we got to step a little bit closer. There wasn't a red jersey near him.
11 points for Kidd, and now Jason Terry goes to the bench, picking up his 3rd personal foul. 14 foul on Dallas. So Kidd, Stevenson, Marion, Chandler, Nowitzki for the Mavs. Batum, Aldridge, Miller, Wallace, and Camby for Portland. Shot clock at 4. Miller to the bucket, so strong, and a great tip. There's Camby, who got his right hand in there to tip it in. He's got 9 boards here in the first half. We got Camby defending Nowitzki. Dirk just 4 of 11 from the field. Stevenson with the handoff. Wallace with the block, but a Portland foul. 14 foul on the Blazers. 62 seconds away from the Toyota halftime show. Hannah will get you caught up in case you missed it on all the scores from earlier today. Day one of the 2011 NBA postseason.
Hannah just gave us the Corona Light update, right? So shouldn't she be on a beach somewhere? Aren't the Corona commercials or change the view and inevitably somebody's sitting on the beach?
Being in the studio in Bristol is the same thing, isn't
Well,
it?
for playoffs it is. If you're Hannah, you're sitting there going, all right, I'm in a good spot.
And Chandler gets the first free throw. An improved player, a player that has really matured, 28 years of age, 10th year in the league. Was the number 2 pick of the Bulls back in 2001, was there for 5 years, and went to New Orleans, Charlotte for a year, now first year with the Mavs.
Well, an incredibly bright guy, and according to everybody on Dallas, just one of the best teammates they've ever had. And you just love the energy and sort of the ethos that he's brought to the Mavs.
Dallas back up 10, matching its largest lead of the first half. A 12-4 Mavs run. Aldridge has been quiet of late, and a turnover there thanks to the great hustle by Jason Kidd. Here's Stevenson. And Kidd will slow it down. Nowitzki. A lot of contact. And an offensive foul is called on Chandler. There's a lot of contact on Nowitzki. It looked like there were 3 Blazers who committed a foul on Dirk.
You feel like this.
They're actually giving it to Nowitzki, calling an offensive foul on him.
Yeah. His
second.
This guy gets accustomed to people being all over him. We get the benefit of the second look as he goes to the rim. Batum was actually grabbing his jersey. Now clearly Camby is outside the restricted area, but Batum literally had Nowitzki by the back of the jersey. That is illegal.
And Wallace looked like he fouled him as well. Nowitzki to the bench. Brian Cardinal comes on. About a 10-second difference between game and shot clocks. The Blazers held to just 15 points here in the second quarter. Wallace has not scored his first playoff game as a Blazer, and he commits the offensive foul as Chandler got position. Second on Wallace. So Dallas can hold for the final shot of the half. Knocked out of the first round of the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years, and they haven't really played well at home in the postseason of late. Trying to take game 1 against the Blazers and take a double-digit lead to the locker room. Nowitzki back on the floor, 8 seconds to go. Dirk just 4 of 11 from the field. He'll take it in on Aldridge. He'll miss it. Camby gets the rebound, lets it fly from three-quarter court. And that's the end of the first half. Dallas by 10.
Wow, I thought Dirk took some contact on that one as well.
Portland led by 1 at the end of 1, so Dallas outscores the Blazers by 11 in the second quarter. Holly Rowe standing by with Jason Kidd.
Well, Jason, you had some strategic rest before these playoffs started. How are those fresh legs treating you? 3 threes in the first half.
I feel great. You know, this is like the beginning of the season for me. My coach and the trainer talked about giving me a week off, which was well deserved. But I feel great, and this is the fun time of the year. You gotta be fresh and ready to go.
Marcus Aldridge had 11 points in that first quarter, just 2 in the second. What did you guys change on him defensively?
Well, we're trying to take the lob away. He's so good at that. He's so talented once he gets the ball in the box, and we're just trying to make it tough. He made some tough shots, but we got to take those layups away from him.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Excellent. First half for Jason Kidd, 11 points as Dallas leads by 10. Coming up on the Toyota halftime show. The Hawks get a road win. Derrick Rose, fantastic at the end of game 1. And the Bulls' victory over the Pacers. It's leading by double figures at the end of 2 quarters of play. Dirk struggled, just 4 of 12 from the field. Jason Terry, though, and Dallas with a 10-point edge. Game 1 of the 3-6 matchup in the West. At American Airlines Center in Dallas, the Mavericks trailed by 1 at the end of a quarter, but now have a 10-point lead as we get ready to start the third. Looking at our Buick Regal game track, Dallas was 6 of 10 from behind the arc and out-rebounded Portland. And as usual, 15 points for the bench. They had the top scoring bench during the regular season. Big pass to Doris Burke. Holly Rowe here as well. LaMarcus Aldridge and Dirk Nowitzki, the key matchup. Nowitzki struggled in that first half, as many turnovers as field goals, and Aldridge got off to a great start.
Dirk has spoiled us, generally speaking, with his efficiency at 4 turnovers. But just 4 for 12. They were physical with him. They sent double teams. They sent multiple defenders at him. So he's had to work hard for all the shots. There was some contact on some shots late. He got the charge call. So unaccustomed to Dirk struggling. And then LaMarcus Aldridge, a little miss, chippy there. He got out of the gates 5 for 6, was really solid in the first period. That jump hook hard to contend with his leg.
Meanwhile, Jason Kidd with 11 points for Dallas, 3 assists, no turnovers. He hit 3 threes. And Holly Rowe had a chance to talk with Portland head coach Nate McMillan.
Well, they said it really hurt them in that first half to have their second leading scorer, Wesley Matthews, on the bench. He played just over 6 minutes because of those 2 early fouls. So it will be a big jump start to get him back here to start the second half. But he said we've got to get better ball movement. We've got to get our three-point shooters more involved and get some better offense going. It will start with moving the ball.
Yeah, they had just 1 3. Gerald Wallace didn't score either in his first playoff game as a Blazer.
Well, not surprising you're down 10 when you get 2 starters going it over. And don't dismiss Wesley Matthews' toughness on the defensive end as well. He's a committed defender.
Marion with the turnaround, though, and rebound by Wallace. Portland has not won a playoff series since 2000. Dallas has lost in the first round 3 of the last 4 years, including as a 1 seed and last year as a 2 seed. Mavs the 3 seed this year. And the game 1 winner in a best of 7 takes the series about 80% of the time. As Aldridge misses the shot, he's now 6 of 11 after that great start that you talked about.
What do you notice, though? Boy, the willingness for him to bang and not be afraid to mix it up every possession.
Nowitzki with a fall away, can't bank it in. He's now 4 of 13 from the field and shot a career high this year, 52%. Andre Miller stripped but got it back. He had a great first half with 12 points and finds Wallace for his first bucket of the night.
Well, nice job by him. Good cut. When you're struggling, get yourself near the rim.
Game 2 of the series on Tuesday here in Dallas before it shifts to the Northwest. And the Mavs, at the end of the regular season, when talking about potential matchups, they mentioned they didn't like that 4-hour flight to Portland, as Aldridge has it swatted away by Chandler, and Nowitzki gets to the loose ball. It's 5 on 4 because Gerald Wallace is back on the other end of the court. And Miller grabs Nowitzki, first foul on Portland here in the quarter. Two blocks for Tyson Chandler.
He's so long and athletic, and the size to protect at the rim. And with Dirk as your 4 guy, not a physical defender, not a guy who does a lot of protecting the rim, so Tyson's presence important.
He's healthy this year, missed 68 games the previous 2 years with various injuries, played in 74 games this year. He hits the deck there, and then Nowitzki and Aldridge getting into it, and they call Dirk for his 3rd personal foul.
I think he's feeling some frustration. I think on the last possession, he felt like there was contact on his arm on the jump shot. There was no whistle. And watch what he does. I mean, he was just initiating this. He goes after him that time, and it's this one right there where finally the official blows his whistle. But obvious frustration on that possession.
Rick Carlisle told us before the game he thinks Dirk is a tough player and doesn't deserve that moniker that many had given him of being soft. As Aldridge gets the bucket, but they wave it off. Offensive foul on Portland. Loose ball foul on Camby. That's 3 on him.
Well, he and Dirk were battling on the weak side, and Nate he's in disbelief because I think he felt like Nowitzki was giving as good as he was getting. And that tag on Nowitzki about soft, I think it's very, listen, I can't look through it, the prism that other guys have looked through it. I haven't played. I don't know what it is to be his competitor. I just think his numbers in the eye test tell you something that different.
Good play by Gerald Wallace getting the strip on Nowitzki. And Wallace with the stuff on the other end.
And now, again, he looks at the official, no call, as they get a strip steal.
A handful of turnovers by Nowitzki here tonight as Dallas's lead is cut to 6. Marion can't get the bounce. And Wallace with the save. Portland last year took game 1 in Phoenix in their best of 7, ended up losing that series. In 6 games as Wallace is fouled by Marion, but they're going to call it a shooting foul. First Dallas team foul here in the quarter. The officials are discussing whether this should be a shooting foul or not. They're going to say no, side out. Portland won 48 games during the regular season. 15-8 since the Gerald Wallace trade. They won at Miami, at Orlando, and at San Antonio as Matthews gets his first points, and Dallas calls a timeout. So you know this Portland team is not going away. And they're back within 4 early in the third here in Dallas. Everything Goodyear has learned, making tires for All-Star handling inspires what they roll into yours. Here in Dallas, Dirk Nowitzki, 6 turnovers, 3 offensive fouls.
Yeah, 8.7 rebounds, but Nate McMillan, this team is doing what they wanted to do. Be physical with him. Try to deny his catches. When he does catch it, make the traps. There he gets a little bit frustrated, commits the offensive foul. It's a good little strip steal from behind by Wallace. Dirk was looking for the foul. I thought he looked like, on that instance, he got a lot of ball. There have been moments tonight where I think he's had some gripes with the officials, but not in that last instance.
Mavs have yet to score, and they turned it over 3 times in the quarter. Nowitzki with 6 turnovers for the game and 4 field goals. Dallas's lead was 10 at halftime. It's down to 4. Game 1 of this best of 7 series. Here's Jason Kidd. He hits 3 threes in the first half. That's his 4th of the night. Every time they needed a big shot so far in this game, he's been the one to hit it.
And Portland looked like they switched to a zone out of that one possession.
14 points for Jason Kidd to lead all scorers. 38 years of age, his 15th postseason. Good D by Marion. Jump ball with he and Wallace.
Well, Jason Kidd just relocating and getting his shots in different spots. He makes the pass. You can see Andre Miller commits to giving some assistance on Stevenson, and he just relocates and gets an open shot.
Shot clock at 8. If Portland gets possession, they do. And here's Miller. Timer's at 4. Miller on the taller Chandler. Chandler with the strip. Miller's got to get rid of it, and it's a shot clock violation. Here's Nowitzki, 4-13 shooting, gives it up there to Marion. Now Kidd fires, hits another 3! Playing like a kid. Jason, 5 of 7 from behind the arc.
Fresh legs equals good shooter. When you're savvy and smart, you played as long as Jason. Sometimes it comes easy.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Ford Service. See your Ford dealer for expertise, convenience, and...
Here's tomorrow on ABC, 3:30 Eastern. It starts with Buick Regal NBA Countdown at 3. The Lakers swept the Hornets in 4 games during the regular season.
Kobe's still there. Phil Jackson's still there. Powell's still there. I like their chances.
If Bynum is healthy,
yeah,
you would think.
D. Fish is still there, right? They got some guys.
Aldridge fouled by Chandler. Do you think they're the favorites, even though they're not the 1 seed? Most think in the West that that's the team to beat. They're also the defending 2-time champ.
Hard for me to doubt him. It doesn't feel like Kobe's lost any of his passion in the title hunt, that's for sure.
They closed the season poorly, almost blew a huge lead the last night against Sacramento, but ended up winning that game and securing the 2 seed. Had they lost, they would have been the 3 seed.
Yeah.
And perhaps had to play Dallas without home court advantage in the conference semifinals. LaMarcus Aldridge, a Dallas native, Seagoville High School, has 14 points to lead the Blazers. This is a 3-6 matchup in the West. Portland led after 1 quarter of play. Dallas on top by 8. Jason Kidd has had a huge night, 17 points, his most in 2 months since he had 20 against the aforementioned Kings back on February 16th. Kidd has hit 5 threes, almost 6. Chandler punches it out to Stevenson.
That's the first time, though, that he hunted his shot. Everything else has come within the context. That was a little flare screen.
Marion with the short jumper. Lead back to 10 for the Mavs.
I wonder if you had asked Rick pregame if Dirk would struggle just 4 for 13, did he think he'd be in this position?
Good question. Their bench has played well again. And meanwhile, it's really been Aldridge and Miller, the only ones doing the scoring for Portland. Aldridge missing there, and Nowitzki with the board. 8 rebounds for Dirk. Nowitzki bumped again, comes up short again. He's 4 of 14. Miller, the alley-oop to Aldridge, the 4th time they've had a successful alley-oop in this game.
He's just so long, gets off his feet so quickly.
Midway through the 3rd, Dallas by 8. Kidd again. Jason Kidd with 19 points, a game high.
See, you don't see him hunt shots like that very often. He just feels so good.
He's 7 of 10 shooting. He also has 4 assists and 3 rebounds. Aldridge working on Chandler. Through the lane to Miller. And Andre Miller rattles home a 2. He's got 14. How about the 2 vets, the 35-year-old Miller with 14 and the 38-year-old Kidd with 19. We talk about all these great young point guards in the league. 2 of the elder statesmen having great nights at that position in this league. Here's Kidd again with 5 to shoot. Hill's back up, short on the 3, get his own miss though.
Wow. Again, hunting shots.
Now Nowitzki to the goal. Can't get it to drop. The tip won't go. And out to Miller. Miller to Wallace. And Gerald Wallace gets Portland back within 6 at the 5-minute mark.
Now, normally, Portland is one of the slowest paced teams in the league. But I think in an effort to try to generate a little bit of offense, they're opportunistic in transition and being opportunistic there.
To your point, the fewest offensive possessions in the league this year, the Blazers. But they are efficient. That's one of the reasons why they won 48 games. Here's Nowitzki again, falling away. Dirk got that one. His 5th field goal, and he's finally in double figures with 10 points.
Aldridge has done a very good job using his length and not allowing Dirk to get great separation.
2 7-footers going at it. Here's Miller, 5 to shoot. Wallace will try a 3. Camby with another board. He's got 13. Miller says, why not? He was 4 of 37 during the regular season. His Kidd takes it away from Wallace. Here's Stevenson in transition. Camby with his 14th board.
Boy, you forget how strong Jason Kidd is.
Portland misses an easy one inside.
Well, back-to-back great defensive plays by Jason Kidd. Remember, he's 6'4", about 210, fellas, with very strong, outstanding hands. 2 solid defensive plays in a row.
Marion way off of that one. Blazers ball, 3.5 left in the 3rd, down 8. They've kept their starters on the court the entire quarter here. Both teams have. Aldridge working on Chandler. Tough shot by LaMarcus Aldridge. Timeout, Dallas. You talked earlier about how he likes to go down in the low block now. He didn't used to. He's a very good player down there. Back in Dallas, the Mavs lead cut to 6. Jason Kidd, though, having a great night.
Well, timely rest. The strip steal. Wallace puts it on the rim. That's strength. He just rips it away. And then from behind on the Wallace shot, did he get a piece of the arm? I don't know, but it doesn't matter because the officials don't call it. So not only has he been outstanding offensively, but making plays defensively.
And no question, in talking with the Maverick players, there's a sense of urgency here. Not just because they've lost in the first round 3 of the last 4 years, but Jason Kidd's 38, Dirk's 32, Jason Terry's up there in age. You don't know how many more opportunities you're going to get. And they've got a good team, obviously. 57 wins during the season. Barea off the Chandler screen, and it's cleared again by Canby.
Now with Dirk and Jason on the bench, even though it's been a bit of a struggle, let's see, can Portland take control here? Marion checking Aldridge.
19 points for LaMarcus Aldridge. And Marion comes up with the steal. And then a foul by Aldridge. Third team foul on the Blazers here in the quarter. Now Canby goes to the bench, and so Aldridge will move to the center position. A smaller lineup for Portland with Matthews, Roy, Miller, Batum, and Aldridge. Remember Dirk, as you said, Doris, on the bench. So you got Marion playing the 4. And a turnover by the Mavs. Aldridge got position, finds a cutting Batum. It's a 4-point game.
What pretty pass. I'm a little bit surprised. He had his defender buried in the post. I'm surprised he didn't shoot it, but a good find.
Dallas with only 12 points here in the quarter after 26 in the second period. Terry no. And the Blazers can cut it to 2. Under 2 to go in the third. The lob, Aldridge, another successful alley-oop, the 5th of the game.
Do you see what I mean when they get him off the basketball and they allow him to use his ability to move his feet so well and react to what defenders are trying to take away? This guy is sensational off cuts to the rim.
10-2 Blazer run. Dallas shooting around 30% this quarter as Barea is fouled by Batum. They thought he had position, but it's a defensive foul.
Everything doesn't have to be a post-up to be a post score. And for LaMarcus Aldridge, while he has done his fair share of banging, he does this as well as anyone in the league. Get to 12 to 15 feet and then attack the rim. Passes have got to be good, but they've been on the money.
Chandler to the bench.
And what do you notice? Haywood, who did an outstanding job, I thought, in the first half, checking LaMarcus Aldridge, is in the game. Can he give them another good couple of minutes here?
Canby's back in. Aldridge goes to the bench with 21 points. Another Blazer foul, and Andre Miller a little shaken up, hobbling. As the Blazers are over the limit, Miller picking up his 3rd foul. Barea will shoot. Barea, 85% free throw shooter.
Well, Andre Miller looked like he tweaked that ankle. He was conversing with the official. Now, I'm not sure what he's complaining about. Haywood kept his position on the screen. He's just trying to fight through it, and Haywood's too big a body.
Barea with 4 points, 4-point Dallas lead.
You could see how Andre Miller would be successful under a guy like Rick Majerus at Utah. His game and the way Rick thinks the game, I think, is pretty good.
Into the playoffs 6 previous times, Andre Miller, but never won a first-round series. Here's Fernandez, hit a 3 in the first. Off the mark there, but Canby again, keeping it alive. 16 rebounds, and how about 5 assists for Marcus Camby? Roy had it punched away. It'll stay Blazer ball. But Canby so important.
Yeah.
He's the only current Blazer that's played in a final series. He did it with the Knicks back in 1999. And he's healthy now. Had knee surgery in January, missed 16 games.
Former Defensive Player of the Year, and just a consistently solid rebounder in this league.
Here's Roy. Another offensive rebound. Brandon Roy just 1 of 4, 2 points in 14 minutes. Just outside 30 seconds left here in the quarter. A turnover by the Blazers. Here's Terry for 3. Haywood with the offensive rebound. 1 second difference between game and shot clocks.
Let's go, Mavs! We're going to flatten things out for Barea. Fernandez did not keep him in front in the first half.
6 seconds. Barea. Rebound Camby. Here's Roy with 2. Roy from half court. Off the rim. Dallas's lead at the half was 10. It's cut to 4 as we go to the 4th. LaMarcus Aldridge, the leading scorer for the Blazers with 21. Jason Kidd has been the story for Dallas, which leads by 4.
Welcome back to Dallas with Mavericks head coach Rick Carlisle. Coach, just 14 points in that third quarter. What stalled about your offense?
We missed some shots and we turned it over, and that's a bad combination.
LaMarcus Aldridge has been successful on that alley-oop. How do you change that defensively?
Got to keep body on them. They're the best in the league at doing it, so they're good, but we got to be better.
Thanks, Coach.
He was a bit more verbose as an ESPN analyst. In those interviews, we've got to get him thinking in his old job. But they were just 5 for 18. To his point about their offense, 5 for 18 as Stevenson fouls Roy. 5 for 18, 4 turnovers in that quarter. So 1 more field goal. And Dirk, it's just been a very tough night. I think defensively, they've done an outstanding job, Portland, with him. They've been physical, they've doubled, they've mixed their defenses. Everything Coach McMillan told us pregame has played out.
Just 10 points for him. On 2 occasions during the regular season, he had only 10. His season low is 7 as Batum banks it in. And it's a 2-point game. Another bucket in the paint. It was 14-0 points in the paint in the third quarter in favor of Portland. And they're plus 18 for the game.
Great job by Portland not to give up Batum in that trade, because they didn't want any part of giving him up.
Stojakovic, no. Rebound Camby. Portland with a chance to tie or take the lead. Remember, there's a lot of pressure on this Dallas team, having lost in the first round 3 of the last 4 years, and a lot of people picking against them this year. Despite 57 wins, 9 more than the opponent in the first round. Batum can't bank it in this time. Nowitzki will come in at the next dead ball. Here's Terry, one of the top fourth quarter scorers in the NBA. Barea. And he can't touch it. It would have been a turnover had he touched it. And so it's out of bounds. It'll be Portland ball. Nowitzki back on the floor, 5 of 16 shooting. He does have 9 rebounds.
For Barea, you know, it's almost been activity without achievement for him tonight. He's just 1 for 7. He's consistently, Barea, been able to get into the lane, but it hasn't turned into anything for their team.
Aldridge, the leading scorer in the game with 21. Andre Miller has 14. Fernandez, alley-oop to Wallace. And we're even at 61. The 6th, by our count, successful alley-oop. And a 14-4 Blazer run. Here's Nowitzki, Batum defending. Shot clock is at 5. Dirk spinning in the lane and foul. It's on Batum, first foul on Portland here in the quarter.
Well, watch why this alley-oop is successful. You're going to see Peja Stojakovic commit to Fernandez because he's afraid his teammate's getting beat, and he loses contact. And anytime you lose contact with your guy, you open yourself up to the lob. And the bench is saying, yeah, I can get with that play.
Nowitzki. Believe it or not, that was his first free throw attempt. 89% free throw shooter.
Wow, that's significant. I mean, think about how many games this guy's played. He's averaged for his career, we're talking about over a decade, 6.5 free throw attempts per game over a decade. So the fact that Portland has guarded him as well as they have without putting him at the free throw line, significant.
Dallas back up 2 on the Nowitzki free throws. He's got 12 points. Here's Fernandez. Tried to roll it to Aldridge. Roy. Aldridge. 2-point attempt is good. 23 points for Aldridge.
Boy, you almost forget that this was a guy's strength. I mean, that 18 to 20-foot jumper was his strength when he first came into the league. He does so much around the rim now. You're like, oh, I forgot about that.
Averaged 22 points per game during the regular season. A career high. Averaged 28 against Dallas. A turnover by Terry. Threw it right to Fernandez. Portland looking to take the lead. Fernandez fouled. Got the basket.
Well, you love the unselfishness. Batum easily could have taken that shot opportunity. Numbers advantage were significant. Barea commits the touch pass. That's just beautifully done.
And the first lead for Portland since early in the second quarter.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs. Brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires for All-Star handling inspires what they roll into yours. Each game in this series during the regular season decided by 8 points or less. We're headed for a close one again as Aldridge has had a great night.
Well, what you like is all the different ways he scored off these alley-oop passes. A little up screen by Andre Miller. He spins off his defender in the post. A cut from the weak side. That's 3 different ways. Then 1 in transition. 4 different ways. Then off a little screen and roll. Another dive to the rim. 5 different ways you've got to contend with this guy making cuts to the rim.
How about Portland as Fernandez completes the 3-point play to give the Blazers a 3-point lead, outscoring Dallas in the paint here in the second half, 22-0. They were even in the first half. Meanwhile, Dallas has hit 8 threes. That's how they've been able to stay in the game. Jason Kidd has 5 of them. Stojakovic wide open, off the mark. Aldridge with the board. Only the 3rd rebound for LaMarcus, but he has 23 points to lead all scorers. Dallas lost in the first round as a 2 seed a year ago. Back in 07, they lost as a 1 seed. They're the 3 seed in the West this time around. Fernandez keeps it alive off the miss by Batum.
But does it feel like balls in the air have gone to the Blazers in the second half?
They're +5 on the glass. Batum banks it in, and it's a 5-point Blazer lead. It's their largest lead of the game.
Now you've got to go to Dirk. He's got Batum on him.
7-0 run by Portland. Nowitzki setting the screen for Barea. Now you got Fernandez on Dirk. Barea finds Haywood. And it's cleared by Brandon Roy. Dallas cannot score here in the 4th quarter. There's 2 points in 4 minutes.
And now for a team that likes low possessions, you just manage this clock.
How about 6 points in the last 10 minutes for Dallas? Shot clock at 5. Wallace gets past Peja and missed the layup. Dallas has missed its last 9 shots. Nowitzki falling away, and a foul is called. Dave McMillan thought that it was a blocked shot. He's out near half court complaining, but Mike Callahan says no. Foul is called. We got more NBA action for you starting on TNT at 1 Eastern tomorrow with Game 1 between the Spurs and Grizzlies. New York at Boston, Game 1, 7 Eastern tomorrow. Denver, Oklahoma City. That should be a fun series. Game 1 tomorrow night. ABC, it's Game 1 between the Lakers and New Orleans at 3:30 Eastern. NBA TV Tuesday, Atlanta looks to go up 2-0 on Orlando. Friday on ESPN, Lakers, Hornets, Boston, Knicks. Game 3 in those series. Think there's any way, the way the Celtics have played down the stretch, that the Knicks win that series, Go.
Boy, you know, you've got a scary proposition, I think. And I think with the combination of Amari, Carmelo, and do not dismiss Chauncey Billups, Mr. Big Shot, controlling things in the playoffs as a decision maker, as a big shot maker, I think it's a scary prop. I think it's almost better that that's the team they draw, because you know what? The New York Knicks are going to have the Celtics' attention, and that's probably a good thing when you've got a team that's been to the finals as many times as Boston.
Boston handled them easily in the regular season as Aldridge gets the turnaround. He's got 25 points. He's 11 of 18 from the field.
I can't get over the guy's growth in such a short period of time, and he's really just touching, I think, his potential.
Dallas has gone almost 10 minutes without a field goal. Terry bumped, and he'll go to the line. Let's listen in. Nate McMillan in the Blazer huddle.
Hey, come on. Get your hands up. Hey, all we got to do is get stopped. The defense is what's going to do it for us, all right? Offensively, we got a nice rhythm. Keep executing, setting screens, and attacking.
Terry misses the first free throw. Meanwhile, he's one of the best free throw shooters in the league.
The last point he made, I think, is the best one. You look at this Blazer roster, and if Brandon Roy's healthy, he can get his own. But the reason that screening is important is there's not a lot of great one-on-one players who can create their own opportunities for him. So all that screening that they do to get action going and get their players moving is important for this team.
Third straight postseason for Portland after a 5-year drought. The Blazers haven't won a series since 2000. Longest current streak of consecutive lost series at 6. Batum no. Nowitzki with the board, his 10th to go along with 14 points. Here's Dirk on the other end. Batum defending. Dirk raises and misses. Dallas has missed its last 10 shots from the field. And Dirk just 5 of 17 on the night.
It's interesting when you disrupt a score early in the basketball game. Is there ever a point in the game where he can catch his rhythm? For Dirk, the answer's been no.
Batum with the stuff on the pass by Brandon Roy.
Boy, fast to the rim, Batum.
11 points for Nicholas Batum, and Portland has its largest lead of the game at 6. And a turnover by Dallas. Wallace and Roy couldn't handle the pass. Turnover Blazers.
Well, the Portland Trail Blazers in the second half have taken control of this basketball game. Many of their opportunities coming right at the orange. That leads to good field goal percentage. They've got the advantage. LA doing work. Where else? On the left box.
(2006) Miami Heat down 0-2 to Dallas, but they end up coming back to beat the Mavs, who then the next year, despite 67 wins, lose in the first round. As the 1 seed, they lose in 08 in the first round. In 09, they win a first-round series before losing in the conference semis to Denver. Then last year, as a 2 seed, they fall to the Spurs, and you have to wonder, they had a double-digit lead. They are without a field goal now in almost 11 minutes. Is the pressure getting to Dallas?
You could certainly make the case that there's probably more pressure on this 57-win team in the first round than any other series in the NBA. And their issue right now is they had 16 points in the paint in the first half. They don't have a single point in the paint. This is a jump shooting team. And can they make enough jump shots to win?
Their last field goal came at 4:38 of the third quarter, but Jason Kidd, who has bailed them out all night, now 8 of 12 from the field, 21 points. Dallas had missed its last 10 over an 11-minute span prior to that shot by Jason Kidd.
They were 47% shooting in the first half, 23% prior to that make in the second.
Roy with 3 on the timer. Short. Wallace trying to keep it alive. Dallas ball down 4 at the 5-minute mark. Game 1 winner in a best-of-7 ends up winning the series almost 80% of the time. Dirk going backdoor, got it from Kidd, and a block by Aldridge, but a foul is called. 14 foul on the Blazers here in the quarter. Only the third on Aldridge, and Nowitzki is 4-4 at the line, 14 points, will shoot 2. Career high in field goal percentage this year at 52, but just 5 of 17 tonight. Don't forget tomorrow, more NBA playoff action on ABC. It's game 1 between the Lakers and Hornets. NBA playoffs and ABC, home of the NBA Finals. Buick Regal NBA Countdown gets things going at 3. Nowitzki gets them both, and it's a 2-point game.
It's amazing how often that guy is right around 50% from the floor, 40 from 3, and 90 from the free throw line. It's extraordinary consistency. Tonight, obviously, an exception.
Shot clock at 2. Miller. Dallas can tie or retake the lead here. Nowitzki bumped, and that puts the Blazers over the limit with 4 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter.
Nice job by Dallas. In late clock situations for Portland, they're making the right switches.
Dallas, one of the best free throw shooting teams in the league. Dirk, one of the best of all time, 89% this year. He made 74 straight at one point in March, and he's 7 of 7 tonight. One more coming.
Rick Carlisle has a very long history in this game, and I asked him where he thought Dirk fit. And remember now, he was a teammate of Mr. Bird, okay?
Yeah.
He said top 10 or 15 all time, no questions.
In his 13th year, MVP in 2007, 4-time first-team All-NBA, 10 straight All-Star games, and he just tied it at 72 with his 18th point. Struggled at home during the regular season and in postseasons past. Starting to come alive, though. The crowd into it here. Great environment, Doris, here in Dallas. Let's see how the Mavs respond. Now they got the game tied again.
You've relinquished a 10-point lead. People have questioned your toughness over the last several years. You have an opportunity now to change your disposition, get enough stops, and become the team that people have expected you to be in the last several seasons.
That's one of the things Rick Carlisle talked with us about, that attitude, that it's all that really it comes down to for Dallas, and Holly was just listening in on a Rick Carlisle huddle.
Well, that's right. Actually, when they were down by 6 points, he turned to his team and he told them, guys, right here, the game comes down to getting defensive stops, and this moment will define who we are. Since that huddle, his team came back to tie it. They did not allow Portland to score, and it looks like they are trying to define who this Dallas team will be, soft or winners at the end of this game.
Andre Miller continues to have a great night. He's got 16 points and 6 assists after that bucket. And Portland back up 2. Here's Nowitzki, long range, his first three-point attempt, and it drops to get Dallas a lead. .11 in the fourth quarter for Dirk. Miller, no. Chandler boards. Nowitzki has come alive here in the final frame. He goes backdoor, takes it in strong, and is fouled. Hit the deck hard, holding his left elbow.
There's three-point opportunity. Jason Terry tries to beat Wallace off the dribble. Dirk stays spotted up in the corner, and then he was calling for this play. Almost like he motioned for this particular play, and look at this. Not afraid of contact at the rim.
Remember, there was a great free agent class last year, and Dirk Nowitzki could have been part of it, but he actually took about $2 million less per year to stay in Dallas. Wants to finish his career as a Maverick, signed the new 4-year contract. And even though he hasn't had great numbers in terms of points and rebounds, still been a terrific season, potential first-team All-NBA for the 5th time. He's got 13 here in the fourth.
10 of 10 from the free throw line.
It's an 11-2 run after Dallas went 11 minutes without a field goal. They go to the Dallas native Aldridge on the other end with 3 to play. Aldridge, beautiful move to get the Blazers back within a point.
Boy, he's come so far, this ability to absorb contact, because Tyson Chandler was putting it on him down there.
Only 25 years of age. He's got 27 points tonight. Here's Nowitzki, defended by the smaller Miller. Dirk with the spin, banks it in, and a foul!
The matchup coming into this was the two power forwards, two guys. One was an all-star. This guy probably should have been. Chandler is bodying him hard. That jump hook so hard to contain. And then Andre Miller, a little exchange defensively, leads to a mismatch. And Dirk is coming through when it matters most.
16 fourth quarter points, 26 for the game. Dallas by 4 with 2.5 to play.
Now in the past, they would go through Brandon Roy. Now they're exclusively in late game situations about LaMarcus Aldridge.
The double team comes. Aldridge tried to hit Miller, and a Maverick foul. That's just their third team foul. On Marion. Meanwhile, Dirk Nowitzki with 12 consecutive points. Dallas back on top by 4. 14 to shoot for the Blazers. See if they get Aldridge again on the low block. Screen and roll with Roy. Here's Batum. Short with a 3. Only white jerseys under the hoop. And now Kidd in transition for Dallas. Kidd all the way to the goal, blew the layup. Portland ball inside 2 to play, down 4. Miller in on Dirk. What a move. Andre Miller with 18 points.
Well, that guy is just so tough around the rim. Even when he's getting to the rack like that, it's his change of pace. It's not explosive speed and a craftiness to score over and around bigger defenders.
Blazers back within 2. A double Dirk. Kidd finds Terry with 5 to shoot. And Terry grabbed by Miller. That's going to put Terry on the line, and Andre Miller picks up his 5th personal foul.
Well, Andre Miller gets this basketball from Brandon Roy. The push ahead, he feels like he's got the advantage. Dirk is probably doubtful that he's going to come in there. And he's saying that the push up, yeah, he did grab his arm, but that was after Andre reached across his body.
Terry just 2 of 4 at the line. He's an 85% free throw shooter. He rattles that one home.
Now, interestingly, the last possession, Nate McMillan elected to put the ball in the hands of Brandon Roy. A little screen and roll action. I don't think Batum was the option they were looking for. Let's see what they do on the next possession.
Terry gets them both. 4-point game. Timeout Portland. Dirk Nowitzki has taken over the game here in the 4th quarter for the Mavs. But we're not done yet. 1.5 to go. 4-point Dallas lead. Back in Dallas, where Dirk Nowitzki has brought the Mavs back from a 6-point 4th quarter deficit to take a 4-point lead.
You've got to be mentally tough, I think, to be as frustrated as he was at points in the game and yet still have the calmness and the demeanor necessary to make the plays late. And a lot of these contact, making the right reads, a backdoor cut on the deny by Aldridge, absorbing the contact. Then he stays spaced on the dribble drive by Terry, gets the big 3. Recognizing a smaller defender. The spin move to get by Andre Miller. A bit deliberate, but nonetheless effective.
Had only 2 points in the 2nd and 3rd quarters. 16 here in the 4th. It's a 16-6 Dallas run to take a 4-point lead.
Dallas has 15 free throw attempts in the 4th quarter. Portland has 12 for the game.
They just called a Blazer foul. They call it an away from the play foul. This could be huge against Dallas. Foul is on Marion. If it's an away from the play foul, it's essentially a technical and the ball, because we're inside 2 minutes to go. So 1 shot technical and the ball because of the away from the play foul on Marion. This could be big. Actually, they're in the That's their 14th foul, and Roy missed the free throw. So they're not in the bonus.
Watch the middle of the paint area. That is where Marion is going to end up. What is that?
Didn't see where the foul was, but it was called. It didn't hurt him because Roy missed the free throw. Portland ball. Here's Roy to Batum for three. Aldridge tried to dunk the rebound, lost the ball, scrum, out of bounds, Dallas ball. So Portland can't capitalize on the mistake by Marion. Had an opportunity to get 4 points in that possession. Instead, they get nothing.
I think that conference was to discuss the right call there going out of bounds.
And again, they can go to the monitor inside 2 minutes to look to see who touched it last, but they don't there. They give it to Dallas.
Kenny Maurer seemed pretty certain he had the right call.
Under a minute to go now. Dallas ball, 4-point lead. Terry with the ball. Shot clock at 5. Here's Nowitzki. Dirk falling away. Won't go. Chandler punches it out to Terry. Here's Jason Kidd with the shot clock at 10. He's got 21 points. Timers at 5. Kidd for 3. It's good! His 6th three! That kid, 24 points for the 38-year-old Jason Kidd, including 6 threes.
You had relinquished a 10-point lead. People had questioned your toughness, but when you had to have it, you found it, and it's been behind your 2 veterans, Jason Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki, at least for game 1, answering some questions. And the owner, yeah, he thinks it's pretty good.
Dallas in command after Jason Kidd's 6th three-pointer. It's a 7-point Dallas lead after Portland had a golden opportunity because of the away from the play foul to get an extra point. Nowitzki and Kidd combining for 50 points and 15 rebounds.
Well, there's experience and there's collective experience, and this is a Dallas team with collective experience.
Those 6 threes by Kidd, a career playoff high in his 122nd postseason game. Batum for 3. It's in. Batum pulls Portland within 4. Remember, Portland won a game against San Antonio during the regular season where they were down 4 with about 2 seconds left. And it was Batum that hit some free throws and then the game-winning alley-oop lay-in. We'll see if they've got some late game heroics in them again tonight.
Well, exactly what you needed. As efficient a shot as you could get. 1 dribble off the inbound pass. So it only takes a couple of seconds. And that's with a pretty long defender. You can see why this team was adamant about not giving up Nick Batum, because he's just 22 or 23, I'm not sure.
At 22 years of age, 3rd year out of France.
I mean, amazing, the upside on this young guy. If you're Dallas, I got to believe you want to make sure Dirk is touching this. He's been outstanding in the 4th quarter and a great free throw shooter.
1 timeout remaining for Portland. Dallas ball with a 4-point lead, trying to take a 1-0 series lead. Game 2 is Tuesday. Earlier today, 2 of the 3 home teams won. Chicago and Miami. They had Orlando losing at home to Atlanta. Dallas was down by 6 here in the 4th. And has come back behind Nowitzki and Kidd.
You're obviously trying to make a play defensively with a steal if you can on any catch, regardless of who's got it. You got to make the hit.
Dallas can throw it into the backcourt here. Chandler, of the guys on the floor, is the worst free throw shooter, 73%. Kidd's got to get it in. He does to Terry, and they'll foul him. Terry, 85% free throw shooter, but he has missed a couple tonight. Aldridge picking up the personal. His fourth. Don't forget, tomorrow on ABC, you can see Kobe Bryant and the Lakers against the New Orleans Hornets. Game 1 of that series from LA, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. It's a 5-point lead with one free throw coming for Terry. Portland will take the timeout. 21.4 on the clock. 6-point lead for Dallas.
Last time you ran this play, you got a very efficient one dribble look for Nick Batum. Do you go back to the same play? It's not as easy for Brandon Roy with the knees he has to get separation from defenders. You think back to his early part of his career. The other thing you could sometimes look for here is the direct entry to the post if you can free up LaMarcus Aldridge.
You got Fernandez, who's a good free throw or good three-point shooter. We saw Brandon Roy in a game in Portland earlier this year hit a three late to send a game to overtime against Denver. As you see the leading scorers tonight, Aldridge a game high 27, Nowitzki with 26, but 16 of those coming in the fourth. Portland led by 6 with 6 minutes to go, but since then a 21-9 run by Nowitzki and the Mavs.
Yeah, it's interesting that Nate was talking pregame about guys having bad quarter or 2 quarters or 3 quarters and being able to find their rhythm. That's what Dirk did. That's what a veteran does.
No timeouts left for the Blazers. 21.4 on the clock. They're down 6. It'll be Fernandez inbounding. Here's Batum. He got a look. Off the mark. Rebound Chandler. The Dallas Mavericks are going to take game 1. Nowitzki fouled. He'll go to the line where he's 11 of 11 tonight. How about Jason Kidd, 9 of 14, a career playoff high 6 threes, 24 points. Nowitzki has 26. All 12 of his foul shot attempts have come here in the fourth quarter.
I think what amazed me is the early threes from Jason were because I think that was the way they were playing him. He was getting those shots. In the second half, it was more about him hunting those shots, which you so rarely see him do. He does it when he makes shots early, though.
The dagger was when they had a 4-point lead. The shot clock was winding down, and he hit the 3 as Roy misfires. And the Mavericks win game 1, 89-81. What a fourth quarter for Dirk Nowitzki. And Holly Rowe is standing by with him.
Well, Dirk, you guys were trailing by 6 with 5 minutes left to play in the game, and your coach said this will define you how you finish this. What did you find within yourself?
Well, they had to get some stops. It was a little easy. They got lobs all night long. They got shots, whatever they wanted. And I think there in fourth quarter, we really made it hard and finally got some buckets to go down. I mean, I was cold basically all night long. Just trying to stay aggressive. The guys told me to keep going and just make something happen, and I was able to make some shots.
You didn't get to the free throw line till late in this game. How did you change your mindset? You finished with 12 free throws.
I mean, at that point, we're down 6. You just got to attack and try to make something happen. That was the good thing was that down to give us a lead, and we didn't look back from there. So, but you know, this team is looking for me to come through and score all night long, all season long, and that's what I try to do.
Thanks very much.
Holly, Portland led 72-66, its largest lead of the game with 6 minutes to go. But Dallas behind Dirk Nowitzki and Jason Kidd finish on a 23-9 run to take game 1, 89-81. For Doris Burke, Holly Rowe, I'm Dave Pash. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from Dallas, Texas, where the Mavs take game 1. Sports Center right now.